The rain had just stopped when Catherine walked into the small cafe on the corner of Eastwood Street, holding her 3-year-old son, Jonah, on her hip. Her hair was still damp, her shoes worn out, and her voice quiet with exhaustion. She had only $2 left in her wallet, a crumpled note she had counted 4 times outside the cafe door. Jonah hadn't eaten since the night before, and though she told him she wasn't hungry, her empty stomach had said otherwise. At the far end of the cafe sat a man in a gray tailored suit, a clean white shirt, and a wristwatch that shimmered under the cafe lights. He sat alone, eating a plate of fries, unaware that in the next moment his life would cross paths with something he never expected. Before continuing, if you believe kindness still matters, and if you believe in second chances, please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so stories like this keep reaching more hearts. As Catherine gently sat Jonah on the chair beside her, she noticed that the prices on the menu were higher than she remembered. Inflation had chased everything, even the cheapest meals. She knew $2 couldn't buy anything, not even one kid's meal. Her eyes stung, not because of hunger, but because she felt she had failed her son again. Jonah's eyes wandered, staring at the plate of fries the man was eating at the next table. He had never been taught to ask strangers for food, but children always see things simply. Food was food, and he was hungry. Catherine leaned closer to Jonah and whispered that they would go home soon. But in that moment, Jonah looked directly at the man and reached out his hand. She tried to pull him back, embarrassed, apologizing softly, but the man looked up, surprised, yet gentle. For the first time, Catherine saw his face clearly, sharp jawline, light brown hair neatly combed back, the calmness of someone used to being in control. Her voice was lower than a whisper when she said the most unexpected words. "Can we share your fries, sir?" She hadn't meant to say it aloud, but desperation had its own reflex. She wasn't asking for herself. She was asking because Jonah was hungry. The man paused, studied her face, and then slowly pushed the plate closer to her. He said nothing, but instead signaled the waiter and ordered 2 full meals. Catherine tried to decline, but he simply insisted with a nod. Not arrogance, but a gesture that asked for no gratitude. She wanted to cry, but stayed composed for Jonah's sake. The man's name was Adrian. Forbes magazines, business conferences, and finance headlines carried his name often. But Catherine didn't know that. Billionaires don't walk into small-town cafes wearing suits that quietly cost more than someone's rent. Yet he was there, sitting across from a woman who had nothing but was trying to hold dignity together like fragile glass. As they ate, Catherine began to notice things. Not about him, but about herself. She remembered the day she lost her job at the hospital cafeteria, the day bills piled up, and the day Jonah's father walked away. She had learned to survive on faith and little miracles, finding a coin on the floor, receiving leftover groceries from a neighbor, and now this plate of fries from a stranger. Adrian sat quietly, listening as Catherine softly talked to Jonah, helping him eat without making a mess. The tenderness touched him in a way he could not explain. People usually came to him asking for deals, opportunities, favors, but she asked for nothing. Just a plate of fries she didn't even let herself touch. Adrian finally asked if she was waiting for someone. She shook her head and explained that she was looking for work, any job, even cleaning tables. He listened carefully. Something inside him shifted. His own mother used to work double shifts at a diner, struggling to raise him alone after his father passed away. He remembered late nights watching her cry quietly so he wouldn't hear. He understood hunger, not the hunger of food, but hunger of worth, belonging, and rest. Adrian stood up and told her to wait. He walked outside and made a call. Minutes later, he returned and asked her if she could start working the next morning at one of his corporate cafes that recently opened in town. She thought he was joking until he showed her the business card with the company name on it. She nearly stopped breathing. Salary mentioned, schedule reasonable, Benefits included childcare support. She didn't cry. She froze. She whispered that she didn't want special treatment. He simply said that a strong woman raising a child alone deserved dignity, not pity. Days passed. Catherine began working, unsure at first, but eventually growing confident. Jonah went to an on-site daycare where he played and ate regularly. She found herself laughing again, an emotion she had lost long ago. The staff respected her, and Adrian visited occasionally, not as a billionaire, but like someone checking if a soul was healing. Adrian began noticing things about her. She was hardworking, gentle, and grateful for every small blessing. She didn't ask for shortcuts. Her humility stirred something in him. Not romance initially, but admiration. Catherine also began noticing who Adrian truly was. Not just his wealth or power, but his sincerity. He never made her feel small. He never reminded her of where she came from. Weeks later, the cafe held a staff appreciation evening. Adrian stood in front of everyone announcing bonuses for employees. But when he called Catherine's name, the entire staff applauded loudly, not because of favoritism, but because she worked with grace that inspired them. After the event, Adrian walked her and Jonah to her car. Jonah ran ahead, chasing bubbles from a street vendor. Adrian looked at Catherine and said he wanted to tell her something. He admitted that he wasn't just a cafe owner, he owned the entire chain and several businesses nationwide. Catherine listened quietly, then simply said wealth didn't change her gratitude. Something changed that evening. Not instantly, but gradually. Adrian started visiting more often, not as an employer, but as a friend. He helped Jonah learn numbers, brought books, and sometimes picked him up when Catherine was running late. Catherine never asked for anything, yet happiness kept arriving like unexpected sunlight. Months later, Catherine received an award at the company's annual community dinner for being the heart of the workplace. And when she walked onto the stage, Adrian stood beside her. She didn't know he had arranged it all. At the end of the evening, Adrian invited Catherine and Jonah to dinner. Not at a cafe, but at a place overlooking the city skyline. The table was set with warm lights and gentle music. Jonah fell asleep in Catherine's lap midway through the meal. Adrian leaned forward and said that his life had been full of everything except meaning, and that the day she asked to share fries was the day his life began changing direction. He didn't ask for anything in return. He didn't ask for commitments. He simply said he wanted to stay close, to protect, to honor, and to help her build a life stronger than before. If this story has touched your heart at any point, please like, share, comment, and subscribe so more viewers can experience hope like this. And before we end, what would you do if someone changed your life with one act of kindness? Comment your answer right now.